What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Soul Hoops podcast. My name is Jeffrey. I'm joined with Ryan today. Hopefully, we can get Matthias in here at some point later on when we do our ranking part of this episode. But we're just going to be talking about some different stuff before we get into any of that. But before we start, Ryan, how are we doing today? You were out of town camping last weekend. How was the camping adventure for you?
It was good. There's this thing in southern Iowa called Ragbri where people bike over a whole week from all the way from the Missouri River on the west side to the Mississippi on the east side. I didn't do the biking, but I drove the car with all the camping gear from stop to stop over the week.
Nice.
And yeah, you camp every night in these random fields and these random um, sometimes it's like high school yards. Sometimes like we stopped. We
Yeah.
were like fully camping like in a cemetery the other day, big open in a big open plot. Like it's kind of crazy, but um, it was a good week. I am ready. I am like happy that I'm back though, just because like I'm happy to be using an actual shower and like sleeping in
Live
an
in
actual
society again.
right. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Jeff?
I'm doing well. Just been enjoying the last few weeks. Moving. I was moving earlier this summer back out of college because I graduated, and now I've been kind of putting it off to get the rest of my stuff out. So I've been finally moving all my stuff out this week, doing cleaning at that house, going back on Wednesday. Our lease ends on Thursday.
Hmm.
So we're gonna go back on Wednesday with a buddy of mine and binge drink for the whole day and reminisce of our time of living together, because I lived in the same place in college for 3 years, which is like kind of a thing that like doesn't really happen a lot of the time. Like a lot of the time in college, you move around, obviously, like
Hmm.
every year, either different dorms, different apartments. But I've had the same place, and like, so we're gonna spend some time out there the whole day and finish up some housework and lawn care. And one of my good friends is moving out to New York next week, so gonna try to see him before he leaves as well. And yeah, about that. But I'm also training for a 15K.
Damn.
Never ran that far in my life. But a couple of my buddies were like, "Do you want to do this thing in Chicago?" And I said, "Sure." So I'm gonna start training for it. It's in like a month only to train. So we're just gonna go for it, I guess. But um, so that's
Yeah,
something that I'm having to do every day is run now, which sucks because my legs hurt every day.
that's hard.
But it is, and it's like a tough mutter. So there's like obstacles. So like how I'm training for it is like I'll run like a half mile to 3/4 of a mile, and then like if I'm at the gym, like I'll do like pull ups and ab work to like work on like muscle strength in between running while I'm fatigued, and it's just so tiring.
Hmm.
And then I do like a 3 mile run every few days, like or every 2 days to like just keep my stamina up. But regardless, let's talk about some basketball. You want to talk about NBA first?
Yeah, let's talk about. I know we both wanted to talk about the Suns and Tyus Jones because that's um, really the only news we've gotten in about a week and a half, 2 weeks
Well,
here.
other than the media rights deal.
Right? Which I just don't know enough about the specifics to make it a whole talking point. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it briefly. I think what ultimately led to the NBA switching from TNT is not the reason that the TNT talking heads said it was. I think it honestly was because TNT got very complacent with their product of we're gonna allow our announcers, our halftime show people, as great as Inside the NBA is, for their chemistry they have, they still have a lot of problems themselves in how they go about covering the sport. And I think that took away a lot from the basketball coverage, which has been a complaint of NBA fans for years now. So that's why I don't understand why people do have such a problem with people saying it. It's like people have been complaining about the way the NBA has been covered for years now, like literally years since, like, I think everyone can unanimously agree since like 2019, the NBA coverage has been absolutely atrocious. And I think they were ready to go into a new direction and let a company build something from the ground up, with Amazon's and NBC's deal of, we're going to get a whole new panel of announcers. We're going to get a whole new panel of, halftime people and pregame show people. And we want to create a network, and we have ideas for creating a highlight focused like NBA red zone type thing. And I think TNT was just unwilling to innovate their product, which is in business. That's what happens. Like if you are refused to do anything new, you're not gonna continue to be rewarded for that, especially from a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where they take it. Obviously, they have one more year with this, and then it'll be in like 2 seasons. Like after next season, after the finals, they'll switch. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that, because I think Amazon has done a lot of good things with like their NFL games that they got rights to. Like they always have shitty games because it's Thursday night football, and Thursday night football sucks ass. But like they have, like if I'm not sure. Do you know what Prime Vision is on Thursday night football? Do you know
Mhm.
that? So it's like an AI based streaming. So they put it in all 22, which is like the film breakdown view. So it's a wide view of the field, and it has live time stats, percentages, odds, like all that kind of stuff. Like they have like a play predictor model. So like it'll say like this distance, this team, like they're most likely to run, like they'll guess plays, what type of formations they're going to be running. And I think if they could implement something like that in the NBA, I don't know exactly how it worked because the NBA is a little bit more free flowing, but like imagine Giannis picks a ball off and starts pushing in transition, and all of a sudden you see like on the court, like, like Giannis has a 76% field goal percentage in transition. 85% of points scored, like when he gets the ball in transition. Like that stuff would just be cool to see during the broadcast. So that'd be something I'd be interested in seeing. And hopefully they can get a better panel of announcers, because the announcing and commentating has just been absolutely horrific for the NBA, especially on TNT for the last few years. So I'm I'm hopeful, but I'm also cautiously optimistic because I just know how things like this go. Like there's a good chance that they just drop bags on a bunch of well-known people who are really not that great at their jobs.
Yeah, I just think I mean, it's no secret that like the line between entertaining personality and basketball analysts, like the line has been blurred for a long time. And you know the guys that have up there kind of are supposed to function as both, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of left with neither of that, right? You're left
Yeah,
with a not super entertaining product, in my opinion. Like inside the NBA is just not really my thing.
it's not my thing really
It's
either.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I don't watch pregame shows, halftime show. Like if
Mm-mm.
I'm watching games, like league pass nights, like where there's my team isn't playing, so I'm not focused on the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just watching random games, or even when I do watch the Bucks and we're playing the Pistons, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have this in the background, but I want to watch a good game, and I have my league pass stream up, and then I got 4 games going. If it goes to halftime or a pregame like show, like I just turn it off. Like I'm just switching to a different broadcast. And if it's a nationally televised game at night, like those West Coast national games, when there's only one game on, it's late at night. Like if it gets to halftime, like I'm going to brush my teeth and get ready for bed. Like, or like if the game's like in pregame, like I'm just doing other stuff during my day. Like I'm not sitting down to watch. Like, oh my god, inside the NBA is on. Like I have
We
to
gotta
get
we got we
on.
gotta see him race to the
Yeah,
screen.
for the 50th gimmick. Like if they
uh,
have like the same 4 jokes that they've been throwing out there for fucking
yeah.
3 years, and like, oh wow, Shaq doesn't know another really good player, and oh, Charles Barkley just said something stupid, and Kenny the Jet Smith is just like yapping about nonsense for hours. And like the ESPN show is even worse. Like, and they're not even going to get cut off, like, because ESPN has their own streaming deal for the NBA. Like, yeah, let me listen to Stephen A. Smith and Molly and whoever else they throw on the panel just talk about the Knicks for 45 minutes and then yap about LeBron. Like, dude, there's like finals coverage at ESPN, and like they're like, are the Lakers going to make any trade in a finals pregame show? Like, dude, like, we run a podcast with like 90 subscribers and we don't even get distracted talking about nonsense like that. Like, it's just stupid and like it's just obnoxious to deal with. And like the fact that I think the NBA also realized like their best media outlets can't be social media content creators anymore. Like, they're losing viewership on these shows, on these things that they pay billions of dollars for, and people pay them billions of dollars to organize, because I would rather log in and watch a YouTube, like, I'd rather watch the Dunker Spot. Like, I'd rather watch numbers on the board. I'd rather watch a Kenny video by himself after games every night than tune into Inside the NBA, where these people are making 20-30 million dollars to talk about basketball, and nobody wants to engage with them.
And it's unfortunate because like the talent exists, right? ESPN, they have Tim Legler, right? They have a Zach Lowe, they have a Brian Windhorst, but those aren't the guys who get to talk before the game up on national TV,
and
right?
when they do get to talk on a game, they start spewing nonsense because of like
they have
whatever
to.
they want to. Yeah,
they've
exactly.
They've got producers in their ears, and it's like,
yeah,
they're telling them, you got to talk about Bronny James. You got to talk about like, can the Lakers make the deep run this year? Like,
yeah,
it's unfortunate. I do hope, this new media rights deal does shake things up a little bit. I'm also interested in NBC's basketball presentation. I think that'll be something that is interesting.
Yeah,
as well. But I mean, yeah, when I see these billions of dollars with the media rights, like, I don't always really know like what to think about it, just because I think we do need to wait a little bit to see
well, when
what the effects of what the effects of this are.
Yeah, I mean, we'll need to wait. I mean, like, I would be interested in looking at the numbers personally myself, and trying to get something, but I know this will bode well for the financial like ability of teams, like, especially with the revenue sharing and stuff that they've implemented. Like, this is beneficial for teams, and like, I think this will help mitigate this CBA a little bit. Like, if the cap does what it should do because of this deal, which usually like the year after a media rights deal like comes into place. So like after 2 off seasons, so like 2 summers from now, like the cap's probably gonna like explode. Like,
imagine what Wemby signs for his.
Well, yeah, like that's when Wemby's rookie extension is gonna be. Like, right now it's like 275. It's gonna be like 400.
It's gonna be insane. Like,
he's gonna be like 400 because he's gonna win like a DPOY in the next year or two, and he's gonna be like All NBA.
When we do our award predictions, in September, like, Wemby's gonna be my DPOY pick, bro. Like,
yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, do I want to just not pick him because like it's so obvious, like that's gonna be him? Like, do I just want to say someone like that I think is like just nonsense? But I mean, like, if I'm doing a real prediction, like, yeah, it's probably gonna be Wemby. Like, dude, he was second to Rudy Gobert. Like, Rudy Gobert didn't even beat him by that much.
No, yeah.
Like, and he's gonna even be even better.
And the Spurs are gonna be good, I think. I don't know about good next year, but like they'll be a lot better, and I think they'll be more competitive.
That'd be like the Rockets this year, probably.
They'll be like a 36, 37 win team, maybe. So
yeah, that's how I feel too.
There's a chance.
Yeah. Well, speaking of star players, the Olympics are going on here. We watched USA play their first group stage game today. No, second group stage game.
First, like, real game today.
The Sudan game wasn't. Yeah, first real game today. We watched a couple games yesterday. We watched. I was tuned into Canada versus Greece. But I want to talk about that game. Let's talk about a few games. Because I watched Canada versus Greece. I don't know. Did you watch any of that game?
Nope.
Okay. I am just gonna say this. Every time I watch Giannis, dude, it's like transcendent experience for me, bro. Like I don't care if it's glazing. Like that dude is so insanely good at what he does on the basketball court, and nobody can stop. Like Canada threw 4, they were running the wall because he doesn't have a good team, obviously. So it's like just run the wall. He still had 34 in a international competition.
Yeah, which is 8 minutes shorter than normal.
Yeah, he only played 30 minutes.
Dude, oh my God.
And he shot 11 of 17 and 12 of 15 from the free throw line. Like, I just like he's so good. And like his teammates were selling him so hard. Like he had this amazing baseline cut. Like they ran like this roll action, right? And like he got the ball on the wing. He kind of got into that elbow area. He drew 3 defenders. He hit his center on like a backdoor cut, like a really nice like set that they ran. Nice read from him, from Giannis. The center has a wide open dunk and missed. Like this dude's 7'2". Like he missed a wide open dunk. And they lost by like 10, but like it was like a 2-point game at one point. Like that would have swung the momentum for them. And like Canada, oh my God, like that team is gonna be hell to deal with. Like USA is gonna have to play them. Like they have like Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, just abusing. Like they just picking up.
They're tough. They've got like physical wings, and you add R.J. Barrett to that list. You add Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Shea, good defensive player with Shea. Like
their big men are ass though. Like it's
Dwight Powell,
Kelly Olynyk, and who I don't even know someone else that's not good, but like they're a good team. And like it is interesting to me because like you can tell that a lot of these teams, like the European, I feel like a lot of the European teams without a lot of NBA talent on them are still running this old school style of basketball, which is like very typical for EuroLeague, like teams and players who play in the EuroLeague. But it's like I'm watching like a Greek like league, like second division EuroLeague Greek player like take the ball out of Giannis's hands to like bring it up the court and run like swing passes around the arc. It's like, bro, give the ball to your 7-foot, 260-pound demigod freak and watch him in transition. Like, this is so stupid. But like, and then like you watching Canada and USA, and they're playing like this modern version of basketball, and it just looks so much more smooth. Like, and I think that is like going to be like probably a determining factor. Like, a lot of these teams just don't have the talent, obviously, but also don't have like they don't have the style of play. They don't have the players to play the style of play of basketball to keep up with the explosiveness of the teams with a lot of NBA talent, like Germany, Spain, or not Spain, Germany, France, Canada, and the US, I would say are probably the 4 best teams. And like the other teams don't have enough talent, but they don't play the style of basketball that allows them to really keep up, I feel like, unless they get a really good shooting game.
South Sudan, though, I think that they are going to
be Wendy Gabriel, bro.
Dude, they're kind of frisky, man. Honestly, like they nearly beat USA. Like USA had to work to beat them, and they still needed a LeBron game winner to beat South Sudan. Like they're kind of tough, and they blew out Puerto Rico. I think it was it was earlier today or yesterday. I don't remember, but I
think it was today.
Yeah, but they got a good win against Puerto Rico. I think they'll be a tough team to watch too. But let's talk about the USA Serbia game that happened today. I think what immediately stands out to me is that, I mean, obviously Kevin Durant came in and was insane. Like, if you have, you've got Kevin Durant, you've got LeBron James, you've got Steph Curry. Like those three, as we saw today, will win you games by themselves, damn near. And like Joel
LeBron
Embiid,
had like a 27 point almost triple or 21-point triple double
yeah,
almost.
that dude was he was insane at 39 years old. It's USA is obviously really good, right? And I think that they're leaving some meat on the bone even too. Like again, Joel Embiid. Why is he start like he shouldn't be starting at this point? If they start Anthony Davis and play him, I mean they already play him like a lot, but starting Anthony Davis, moving Joel Embiid to the bench, that starting lineup gets even better.
Yeah.
If you once you move Kevin Durant to that starting lineup, the starting lineup gets even better. You can keep Booker or Holiday or whoever, and then off the bench, you got Bam Adebayo who just comes in and just wrecks things on defense. You've got Derek White, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum didn't play today, but you've just got hoopers off that bench who come in and can change games by themselves. And I'm not even who am I forgetting either? Like this team is tough.
And I mean Derek White, like
Jason
I don't know.
Tatum. Jason Tatum didn't even play. Like
Damn right he did it. Damn right he did it. I got this. I got that over Celtics fans all summer,
Hey,
all next season. I'll be like, yeah, oh, he's top 5, but he can't play on Team USA.
you got played off the floor in Team USA. That'll
Yeah.
be
You
a good
can't
one.
even spot up in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But this
Yeah, I mean, they just look dominant. I mean, it's just a typical USA basketball fashion. Like ever since 2004, like they've just realized like we are so much better than everyone else. There's no reason that we should be in like these people don't have competition for us. Like, and I genuinely do think like they're probably gonna go undefeated. They might lose like one game. But they're probably gonna go undefeated and their point differential total is gonna be like plus 180. Like,
I think
like they're gonna win by 10 or 15 every game.
Like it's crazy because teams can make it tough for them up until a certain point, and then you just see
the transitions like today, like Anthony Edwards off the glass, like just smacking like a block off the glass.
Yeah.
Throws it to LeBron in transition, who's like gets an and one, and then the next play is like a Kevin Durant pull up midi, Steph Curry like shooting from half court, like, and Steph Curry like actually playing on Team USA this year is like crazy that he's never played in the Olympics. First off, but like I think it's mostly because he's been like hurt or like playing in the championship every year. Like 2016,
he's had a lot of
2016 finals, he lost.
Yeah,
blew the 3-1 lead. I think he was kind of like time to lock in. Plus, he had that hamstring injury or whatever, quad injury. 2020, he had a broken hand, right? So he couldn't play. And then, or 2021, 2021, he had a broken hand. And then this year he's playing. Yeah, I mean, it's just exciting to watch. I mean, it's just a great basketball. I do think Steve Kerr is horribly managing these lineups. Like they keep getting off to these slow starts. Everyone's like, what is going on? They pull him. They just pull Embiid and then switch out one dude. Like Drew Holiday and Embiid come off the court in the first quarter. They're the first two subs every game. They immediately go on like a 20-0 run. Like immediately. Yeah. Like I saw a tweet the other day that like Drew Holiday has like the best PR amongst like his colleagues, like coaches, NBA. But like I was like, that's so true. Like the dude can do no wrong. And I love Drew Holiday, but it's like, dude, he doesn't need to be started. Like we don't need to start him. Like I would like honestly, like if you're gonna have a dude that's not gonna do anything and just play defense, just put Tatum at the 3, dude. Like just let him start then, or put KD in there.
He'll defend and he'll spot up. Tatum will.
Yeah. I don't know if he's hitting the shot, but it's like, okay, let's just let him play. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And like, otherwise, it's just like, okay, bring KD in. Like, there's not that many guards on the roster. Like, it's just Curry, Derek White, Drew, and Devin Booker, right? And Ant.
Yeah, Ant.
But like, Ant can play the 3 in FIBA, like in FIBA ball, because like their power fours are like 6'4".
Ant's huge too. Like he's not. I mean, he's only 6'5", right? That's not super tall.
He can guard wings though.
He can guard wings because he's fucking strong and he's fast and he can do all of that. And he has a 42-inch vertical too. So like,
yeah, I would feel I like the Drew Holiday, Anthony Edwards guard substitution as the first two off the bench more than Ant and Derek White.
Yeah. Mhm.
But like
Alright.
then again, and you do bulk substitutions in the Olympics always because you're not running when you have a team as good as the USA, you're not running these dudes 35 minutes. Like they only play 36 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever. They're not playing 35 minutes a game, dude.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a gold medal game. Like group play, like dude, they're up by like 20 at halftime. Like, why does it matter? And then Serbia, Nikola Jokic led team hitting people in the back of the neck at half court.
Crazy.
What a surprise!
What was Micic doing, bro? He just came out of nowhere and decked KD. I'm like, in the NBA, that is a flagrant 2
Yeah,
ejection from the game. I'm like,
yeah,
and KD didn't even do anything. He just checked in the game when that happened. It's like,
yeah.
bro,
He just checked in the game and he just caught a pass. Like he didn't even like get a rebound or a contest. Like he's just running up the court and got like an outlet pass, and he got just demolished. KD is so funny though because like he really does not care. Like he's just like staying on the sideline laughing. He's like it's like KD, you're like 20 pounds, bro. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really just think that like a lot of these teams like just aren't good enough, and like Jokic is like obviously like the best player in the league, like best player in the world probably. Like, so it's like okay, like he should be competitive, but realistically, like unless Jokic like gets in that mode of like scoring, like he's probably not gonna they're probably not gonna go far because like that playmaking shit is not helping them, bro. Yeah.
he's gonna have to play 40 minutes, honestly, if Serbia wants a chance to win, because that Serbia bench is like some ass. Honestly, it's just like Denver, right? The bench,
Yeah.
and
Did you say they said that if
their
they
lead
want to
just
hit,
goes away, bro.
they said that his minutes were a wash against Team USA, like 0 point differential comparing, like, and they lost his non-Jokic minutes by like 10. I was like, wow, it's just like the real NBA, bro.
Yeah.
Still running this Ponzi scheme bullshit in the fucking world in the Olympics. God damn it. Yeah, I mean, I am excited to see how this plays out. Group play will obviously be a lot of fun to continue to watch. Hopefully, like we continue to get good basketball. I really pray like there's no injuries at all for anybody. Obviously, like that's always like the thing. But it's just like it's good basketball, and these players care about playing for their country.
And like, when else are you ever gonna see Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, all this like
they're all teaming up in Golden State. They're all teaming up in Golden State anyways, so it's fine.
And like
LeBron and Curry have been damn near kissing on the sideline every damn game. They're sitting over there like giggling and like holding each other's hands in the fucking corner. Like, oh my god, wouldn't it be so great if we just played together? Like, they're just like, oh no, you should request a trade. I can't. I'm a franchise. Like, dude, it's just.
Let's see. Okay, we got Matthias in here.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Matthias, are you ready to be added to the stage? Okay, he's giving us the nod.
Let's do it. What's up?
All right,
what's up, bro? Yeah, we're switching. We're switching. Live switching. There we go.
Oh,
awesome.
Okay.
Welcome, Matthias. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I was at the rec working out. I don't know. I just completely blanked.
No, you're.
I set my alarm this morning, and I was like, I set it for something. I know. And I was like, I'll just go work out. I'm awake.
Yeah, I feel.
You're good. We can't hate on you for getting some bag work in.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong.
White Brandon Roy is in the building.
Yeah. Totally.
We're talking a little bit about the Olympics right now. Just Team USA. Like talking about the game this morning. We're talking about Curry and LeBron like kissing in the locker room all the game and pretending like they're not flirting it up, trying to team up and but yeah. How are you feeling about
all the LeBron content? Like, the flag bearing stuff, all those pictures were amazing.
Oh yeah, the one of him with
Delaware River.
Delaware River beer. Yeah, it's so funny. Okay, really quick. Polo Ralph Lauren, I'm gonna have your head. Who the hell approved those uniforms? Jeans, bro. Jeans
Whitewash
and a
jeans.
blazer, bro. Light wash jeans in the rain, blazer, black blazer, checkered underprint shirt. What are we doing
And the ties too.
here?
I've never seen Anthony Edwards in a tie in my life, bro. Never once.
Yeah,
At least he was wearing his Devin Booker's like got his shit like down at his fucking stomach. I'm like, they're like, this ain't a game. That tweet was so funny. It was like, this ain't another matchup against the goddamn Pelicans and Smoothie King Center or something. And I was dying. I was like, dude, that's so fucking funny.
Overall, though, like those outfits fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Like I know denim is an American thing, I guess, but go full denim. Don't just stop a nice piece of menswear with denim halfway through.
Like I kind of got the vision, but like it also was like, but like the jeans didn't really match like the shirt, and like the shirt was like checkered or like something. So like the checkered shirt, and then like there's like it didn't look like, I think like the top part looked good, but like I would have done like
really good.
I would have done with like a khaki or something, or like maybe like a black pant or like a gray pant instead of that, just because like I feel like it just looks a little bit nicer, especially because like I mean some people didn't even do like, some teams don't even do like actual like nice clothes. Like I'm pretty sure Greece had like just like a Greek themed like warm-up suit for their
South Sudan though, they had the shit on. You saw the
Yes.
clips, they had that shit on.
Yes.
There were a couple countries that like really put in design detail in their opening ceremony outfits, and I always love that. But like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have gone for some khakis.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch the opening ceremony, so I haven't seen a lot of what was going on, but I mean, I've seen photos, man.
Yeah, I've seen photos. I mean, I watched a little bit of it, but I had to go to work.
It was pretty entertaining. The death metal with the beheading was pretty crazy. That's like,
yeah, whoa. They were
like, I was like, I'm interested.
Their opening ceremony was pretty wild with like the big horse riding in and stuff.
Yeah.
The woke mob apparently is taking over the Olympics.
Complete misinterpretation. It's
I actually can't.
It's a Christianity thing.
Yeah. Besides that, but yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, it's just kind of what we said earlier. Like USA's talent is just way too good compared to the rest of the field to really make me feel like, oh, like that's really rough. Like we really got to worry about anything, unless like they match up with a team like, and they have like a Giannis. Like, yeah, I don't know, like if this will even happen because I don't even know if Greece is gonna make it out of the group stage. But say they play USA in like an elimination game, like I think the only way they lose is like if they play a team with like a superstar, and like that superstar just goes fucking crazy, like 40 or 50 points, which is like impossible in FIBA, but like 40 something points, like all their teammates are hitting their shots, like that's the only real way.
Like a FIBA Patty Mills type.
Yeah, literally that's the only way I could think of
that. Like a 34-point game from Josh Giddey or something.
Josh Giddey.
I mean,
dude,
there are teams like that. There's like,
oh yeah.
Serbia, Australia, Canada.
Serbia was hot ass today.
Yeah.
And they're like committing flagrant fouls in transition for no reason. Just lighting players up.
That's not too shocking. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, I don't know.
The only way I really like to compare with Team USA in the Olympics is we lose one game. Shit, even if we're close, like if we're close to losing, if we're down at half, it's like a disappointment.
Yeah.
So like,
that's what I said. I said they should be winning every game by like 20 plus.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like the talent disparity it's closing, but it's still there. And the only way they lose is
like
basketball-wise, I'd say a guard can beat them, and then if they get a team that just runs the fast break and defends.
Yeah, I
think it's just going to be them shit in the bed.
The thing with like the talent discrepancy thing is like there is a talent discrepancy Like the gap is closing for the whole world in comparison to the USA, but like individual countries, like Canada's close. I think like Canada would be the closest team to like having like that level of NBA talent. Like they have 10 NBA players on their roster that are like quality players. But like
France and Germany are on the way too. Spain.
Yeah, but like again, like there's just like no country is going to ever have like a 15-man roster of all top 30 players.
Like it's other countries are definitely getting better, but it was weird how like after last year in FIBA,
dude, like, that team was a joke, bro.
That team was a joke. Like Bobby Portis, Walker Kessler was on the team.
Bobby Portis is like your backup 5, and like
Jaren Jackson Jr. was your starting big. no hate or anything. But
yeah,
Josh Hart is on the floor.
NBA players are picky with when they want to play, like especially when during their summer. It's their vacation time. They have a long grueling season. I get it. And FIBA, like risk, and they're really picky on like risking to get injured as well. A lot of them are. Yeah, again, I get it. You're worth hundreds of millions.
Well, also,
of dollars.
like
you hurt yourself.
Nike and the U.S. Nike and like the U.S. men's national team like won't let certain players on the roster who want to play for FIBA and stuff. Like they will not let Trae Young play, even if it's for a World Cup, not the Olympics. Like I don't get it. Like Jaylen Brown just not allowed to play because of his stuff with Nike and them. Like all of these players like just no. We're just Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these players would play in a World Cup game. Are you serious? These players want to go on Team USA. That's the best way to show that you're meant to be on Team USA.
Yeah,
is to like.
I think both USA teams this year were a little like weird with their picking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a little weird, but like I get bringing Derek White on, but that should be Jaylen Brown's spot.
Yeah, or anybody else.
I don't know.
I bet
shooting guard, small forward to replace the small forward makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's
just one Finals MVP. You gotta
yeah. It's not like he's a bum. It's not like he's some random
yeah, he's not just some random dude. Like you literally gave it to some. Derek White is a fucking hooper, but you just gave it to somebody lower on the hierarchy on the same team.
Yeah. I'm telling you, bro. This is what I was talking about, bro. JJ Redick, all these fucking podcasters getting involved in my league that are ruining the view.
League.
We got Derek White, all-star agendas, Olympic teams. We got goddamn Bobby Portis is a good player takes from real NBA head coaches. Did any of you guys see my tweet? I pulled up an old JJ Redick tweet about Bobby Portis being good. I was like, you need him.
I like Bobby Portis, bro.
I don't like him on my
player.
Not on my team.
They're imperfect.
Okay, you want him? I'll send him over there. You could have a 5th center on your roster, dude.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you guys can run a lineup of Bobby Portis, Robert Williams, Bobby Portis at the 2, then we'll put Robert Williams at the 3. Ayton at the 4 because that's what he wants to do, and then you can play Klingon at the 5, and then you can have Scoot play the 1, and like you won't be able to shoot a single 3-pointer, and nobody will be able to finish at the rim either.
It doesn't matter because 20 games into the season, that'll be
they will not,
anyways.
None of that.
Like quite literally, none of them will either be healthy, either because they're hurt actually, or because we're already tanking. And we're just faking the injury report.
Do you have a single ounce of optimism for your team?
No, I have zero. Like literally zero.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, there's no way they're not 15th in the West. Like there is zero chance they are not last place.
The Jazz will give them a run for their money, bro.
No, they will not, bro.
It would be.
Jazz have good players, bro.
The Blazers have good players too, but it's just like the whole team is gonna be hurt, bro.
Like we would have our play calling would have to like improve.
Yeah,
our point guard play would have to improve.
Phillips is really still your head coach. Bro.
Every single part of our team, other than probably our defense, is gonna have to improve.
Yeah, and like
we had
you
one
purposely
positive
traded
player
for
last year.
you purposely traded Drew Holiday to the Celtics for Robert Williams to be the centerpiece of that, and then you draft another center and trade away your other lottery pick.
Hey, apparently though, Clingan's gonna come in and shoot.
He's been pretty good. He was pretty good in summer league at shoot. Like
shot like 26%.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Like if he can get up one a game, it's like okay.
Yeah. I think we're going. It seems like we're going old school, traditional, nail, high low, like Twin Towers with Ayton and Clingan, bro. Like I don't know what we're doing.
They're running. Chauncey Billups is like, yo, we're gonna play like the goddamn 04 Pistons. That's what they want to do, bro.
We're gonna have 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes a game.
Two centers on the floor at all times, bro.
Like quite literally, only
Robert Williams won't be. I'm guarantee you Robert Williams will not be healthy by the end of training camp. Probably, he'll have season-ending surgery by November.
Hey, but we got potential.
Yeah, you do. Maybe Scoot can remember how to shoot a fucking layup next season. Oh my god, those videos of him, dude. Our Twitter mutual, like Tacro, like,
he could.
Every day he sees a Scoot video, he's like, "Can you just shoot a layup correctly? Like, let's remember how to land on your 2 feet again."
If he can control himself while getting downhill, then we can start playing Anthony off ball again, where he's like one of the best off ball shooters in the league. Like he's good as a point guard, but he shouldn't be. He needs to be utilized like a Paul George, rather than like a traditional point guard. You know what I mean? And like we can start utilizing him like that. And then Shane Sharp hopefully doesn't have to have beyond ball as much as he was last year, because the offensive creation is just not there for any of them.
The thing is, though, is like you guys are, bro. The Lakers apparently are getting desperate for something. They might overpay the fuck for Jeremy Grant. Apparently,
I hope.
Do you see that thing that they said they might trade 2 first-round picks for him?
Worth.
Yeah, I agree. You're like, yeah, I agree. 2027 and 2029 Lakers first rounders.
That could be gold
for fucking Jeremy Grant, and you get Rui. That could
be gold.
Fucking Jesus Christ, the Lakers are so funny.
Bronny.
Did we talk about the Suns, or did we just forget?
We forgot to. We can talk about them briefly because I do want to get into into our point guard rankings, which is like the main kind of thing this episode. We're gonna be doing
we've been kind of just free flowing right now, but
we kind of have been.
I like it. It's been a while since we've been on all, so
yeah.
Wanted to
so
talk.
I can start with Tyus Jones and the Suns. It's like the fact that he signed for a minimum contract is really, really kind of insane, considering the value that Tyus Jones brings. Like, he's really carved out a reputation for himself as one of the most, steady backup point guards in the NBA who, we've always thought, like, with the right team and the right situation, he can kind of grow into a starting role. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen in Phoenix. Like, I expect Tyus Jones to start right away.
Well, he said his thing was that, like, Mike Budenholzer told him he can start.
Mm-hmm. And, like, if you're picking, from a bunch of minimum contract offers, which apparently he was getting offers from Minnesota. I heard about Memphis, those reunions. I was hearing other teams as well, but Phoenix offered him the starting spot. Definitely got to take that. But
dude, they did Frank Vogel so dirty, bro. He asked for a singular point guard on the roster last year, and they told him no.
Yeah,
they fired his ass, and then they fucking got 2 good quality backup 2 good point guards to run.
So it's definitely crazy that they got him for the minimum contracts. One of the things that I have been thinking about, though, is that I don't think having a point guard was even necessarily the Suns' biggest problem. I watched it firsthand against the Wolves when they got their ass whooped. Like, they're the problem.
Tyus Jones is flipping that series.
Problem with that team run a lot deeper. I still think that they don't have guys that can defend. Kevin Durant and Royce O'Neal are their 2 best point of attack defenders on the roster right now. That is really bad. That's like that sucks. Yusuf Nurkic is their starting big and
defensive center, bro.
No, I'm not. Nope, not doing it. Yusuf Nurkic is their starting center. They got Plumlee off the bench as their backup big. I think that center rotation is bad. Like they
Plumlee's probably better than Nurkic. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and better than fucking Eubanks that they had out there. I think their center rotation is really bad. I still don't think they have enough guys on that team who are going to get up threes at a high volume.
Actually, respect Bol.
Grayson Allen. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen will shoot threes.
Grayson Allen's playing the fucking 3 for them again this year.
And Book's 3-point frequency has gone down the last couple of years, if I remember correctly.
Of course it has. He's addicted to mid-range fades, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a lot of problems. And the one thing I will say is that Tyus Jones is steady, but like also we've seen him in the playoffs and he doesn't upscale. You know what I mean?
He's been yeah, he was bad against the Lakers 2 years ago in the playoffs. Yeah. Like he was bad.
And it's just one of those things where it's like I think he's actually going to be really nice for Phoenix because they need a steady person that'll make just easy plays because he makes the easy play every single time.
Yeah.
But I understand some teams worrying about paying him. Number one, because the point guard spot is fucking stacked. Looking at the list of point guards that we're going over today, it was kind of hard to differentiate even just like the latter half of the top 10, bottom, like top 15 even. Yeah. Like, there's just a lot of talent there. And when he's not a good defender, doesn't take risks as a playmaker, which is also like a big issue. Like that's a big thing. Like you got to be able to take risks and pull off risks. That's why playmakers like Trey, Luka, all of them are so amazing is that they can pull off cross-court risky passes like nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess like if he's just feeding Beal, Book, KD, that's going to be perfect. Just get him the ball in their spot and let them shoot the ball. But there's a lot of risk that comes with signing him as well.
For sure. And it also like if it's the understanding that he's going to be their starting point guard, what does their starting lineup look like now? Because Tyus Jones is starting, Devin Booker is starting, Kevin Durant is starting, Nurkic is going to start.
You have to start him because you're paying him $27 million a year, and you like made a big deal about trading for him last offseason. Like a big deal about trading.
And they have no other option, honestly. Like let's be honest, they have no other option. And then that leaves out Bradley Beal. But like, is he gonna be your 2? Is he gonna be your shooting guard or small forward? Like, are Devin Booker and Bradley Beal gonna play with Tyus all in the starting lineup? Like
Bradley Beal and Devin Booker wing rotation. Let's go.
I think that really just depends on Bradley Beal's back. And from last season, it seems cooked. But
yeah, and he was bad.
I don't want y'all to forget that Bradley Beal can. When healthy, he was a fucking scorer that could defend at a high level. Like, not a high level, but like a mid-ish solid level.
Yeah, but that was like 5 years ago at this point.
That was only, I guess, like his 30-point per game season was, but he still had like 2 good seasons before he started.
For sure, but
he's got to show something. Like, I would take him off the bench until he's healthy. Yeah. Until he's put together like 30 games of like bench production, but I wouldn't be surprised if come playoff time he's starting or something.
Unless you're gonna do like the OKC, like we're just gonna be so much better than you on offense, and we're gonna. But like they don't have OKC does that with like J-Dub playing the 4 instead of the 3, and like Lu Dort playing the 3 and Giddey playing the 2 and stuff like that. Like they did that last year because they can.
And they can play 5 out with Chet, and that makes their offense so much more dynamic.
And they can run. You can't run. You can't run with Nurk.
No. Someone's phone vibrating?
I think it's fine.
I was like, what the hell? I thought it was my phone in my ears, in my headphones. I was like, why am my phone headphones? No, you're good. I could just hear it like every like three buzz. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like I think Beal could be a quality defender again, like at least like where it's like a kind of a wash, like you're not losing his defensive minutes, but like I'm just more worried about him playing the 3 primarily in defending. Like with Tyus, like Tyus is not a good defender. He's gonna have to guard the point guard or whoever's like not good. Like whoever's like the guy that you can hide him on. But it's like
the plug.
Booker's not good enough defensively either, where you're like, okay, you're gonna be the primary point of attack defender. Beal, I don't think will ever be good enough to be like the primary point of attack defender. You're not putting KD on like a guard, and you're not putting Nurkic out there like on somebody like that. So it's like, I think you're just going to be locked into like positional guarding, like old school basketball, where it's like Tice is going to have in that starting 5. Tice is going to have to guard the point guard. Like Booker's going to have to guard the shooting guard. Whoever's starting at 3 is going to have to guard the 3. KD's going to have to guard like the power forward. Like Nurkic is going to have to guard the center because he's slow. Like I just don't see a world where it's like, okay, this is a versatile lineup where it's like, okay, maybe these guys aren't all great defenders, but they can all play multiple positions. I don't really think they can. And I just don't think that that's going to be a successful manner. And like, is this really helping your clutch time issues? Like, is having a real point guard out there really fixing your clutch time issues? Because is Tyus going to play in closing lineups? Like, you're going to need a defensive minded guy out there. Like, you're going to have to close with a Royce O'Neal or,
and then halfway through the
Cody.
season, you're probably going to end up closing with Beal over Jones anyways. So you're going to put Beal and a defensive guy out there probably if he's healthy.
Yeah.
You're not going to have him out there. And that I agree. And that like that's a problem. And I think you're right there, Jeff, where the issue is, let's be honest, we've all known, but it's with the fact that KD, Book, and Beal score so similarly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even defensively, they're similarly. They're all like, they're not negative defenders. Beal might be now, but none of them excel defensively. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they can guard, but also they remind me of the air raid offense football. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like theoretically, they got everything. They could score it in any way, but they all score the same way. So, you know, defenses at some point just pick it up and they can guard it. And the one thing I will say about Tyus Jones is that he will help facilitate the way Book, KD, and Beal score a little bit better, because last year they didn't have any real playmaker at all, so they were relying on the trio Nurk, Royce O'Neal playmaking to get these guys open, because like these guys are primary, they're scorers and they're primary ball handlers, but also like these guys are also efficient off the catch, like really efficient off the catch.
Well, KD was sitting in the corner for entire quarters of playoff games last year, which just can't happen.
Yeah,
that's the problem though with that. Like they are good catch and shoot players, they are good off ball, but it's like you're not maximizing the value of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker if you're having them play spot up for Tyus Jones and Bradley Beal ball handling minutes.
No, they need to be put into actions. Like, and
Mike Budenholzer is
all three of them. All three of them play well out of actions.
Yeah, and who's their new coach? Mike Budenholzer, well known for his creative offense. Yeah,
random.
Yeah,
they'll all be out there isoing for fucking 48 minutes a game this season.
Yeah, but maybe, you know, like maybe Tyus Jones will allow him to run some sets.
The Warriors, Lakers, and fucking Suns will be the 3. They'll be fighting for those last 2 playoffs playing spots. I guarantee it. Yeah, not much else to say. I think that they're just a cooked product. I think they've done pretty good for what they've had as resources of just minimum contracts, but still their 2-3 best players don't fit together well, and they have no assets and no money. So most expensive NBA roster in history. They have a $220 million payroll and a $200 million tax bill every year. So not sure. All right, well then let's get into the bulk of this episode. Top 10 point guard list. Do we do 2 honorable mentions? Did you guys do 2 or just 1?
I put 3, but like I don't know. We can kind of do whatever. Yeah. What are we thinking? Should we just?
I have two.
Okay.
Yeah. I
feel like if you
I'll add one right now.
I mean, we can. I don't really care either way.
No, let's do two.
Yeah.
I like two, honestly.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like if you do three, like it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, well, that's like arguably like the 15th best guard in the NBA. You know, like that's like a little bit too far for me. But yeah, so we did it. Ryan got the list. Did you use Basketball Reference, right? Or did you? Yeah. So it's Basketball Reference listed positions. A few players that I didn't include on my list. I know Ryan said that he was probably going to not include them. I didn't include Ja, LaMelo, and someone else who didn't play a lot. I forgot who it was.
Okay. One thing also, just like a kind of thing to start. Devin Booker is listed as a point guard on Basketball Reference, but I think he's just not a point guard. Like if you watch his game, it's just so obvious he's not. So he will not be ranked on this list.
Yeah, I agreed with that. I was like, I'd like to tell you there's for reference, Ryan sent us a 30-team list. He said this is the point guards, the top 2 point guards listed on every roster, like just in case there was like minutes changes with like some of them more common sense. Like obviously, like you're like if you would rank the Grizzlies, like you're not doing Marcus Smart over Ja, but like the Suns one was just a blank line.
They just like they didn't really have one last year. So I didn't. Yeah.
All right, let's start.
I will say though, I ranked a little differently. I thought I ranked a little what I think like it's gonna happen next year. I didn't know we were doing offense strictly next year, so I have Ja and LaMelo in there.
I'll throw them in my list.
No, you don't have to. I'm just letting everybody else know.
Right? Ryan, you had him on your list, right?
I have Ja on my list, but also I have like a way I can pivot from it if I don't.
Okay, I know where I'd put him, so I'm gonna do that. I'll put him.
All right, so okay, cool. Ja's gonna be on. Yeah. Do you want to? So we're doing 2 honorable mentions, right?
Yeah, I'll have an extra. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll just kick
one. I'll just kick my 13th guy off then.
Okay.
Or my 12th guy and just put it as the other guy.
So I'll start with my 2 honorable mentions then. I have for honorable mentions. Let's see. Okay, I've got Jamal Murray and I've got Jrue Holiday.
That's who mine were before I put Ja on the list.
Okay.
Mine are Jrue and Harden.
Okay.
Mine are Jrue and Fox.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
That's not too. I mean, yeah. For the reason that I have Jrue is like a very high impact player, like all the NBA, all defensive first team this season. Like he's a very good player. But like I'm not putting him over any guys because he doesn't create offense for his team at all. Like he's the 4th option on offense. He's a high quality connector, but at the end of the day, he's not anything above that. And then I had Harden. I did have Jamal Murray there before I moved Harden down a notch. But
I'm looking at this list. I'm moving Harden into there, and I'm moving Fox up. Actually, I'm a little tweaking just thinking about it.
Yeah, okay. I think like. I had Jamal Murray there, so like I agree with you there, Ryan. Like I think like he just isn't. He's a very good player, but he's not doing anything at an elite enough level where it's like, okay, I really need to include him in whatever he's doing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of his stuff, and he did not have a great season. But Harden on my list, like in the honorable mention, like he's still a very good player, high end playmaker, still a good scorer. Interested to see what he sees like the uptick in usage now again. After playing with Paul George last year, and now Paul George is gone, and they kind of just filled it with role players. So interested to see what that looks like. But yeah, so those are my 2 guys. I really don't have too much to say. I feel like everyone kind of understands why they're in those lists.
Yeah.
We can do. So let's do 10 then right away.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I have Fox at 10. That's who I have at 10.
I've got Tyrese Maxey at 10.
Damn.
I have Fox at 10.
I have Fox at 10. Wow. Why do you have Maxey all the way down here?
I just don't think he's better than a lot of the guys I have above him yet.
Interesting.
I mean, I can shoot. Okay, who should we talk about first? Let's talk about Fox first.
Let's talk about Fox. I have
Maxey.
I have Maxey a lot higher. So
I
don't even have Max. I was juggling Maxey or Drew.
Oh god damn!
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
God damn.
Because I don't think Maxey's better than Harden. I think it's close. I think Maxey and Harden is comparable, but I gave Drew his chops to my honorable mentions because of his defense.
Maybe I'm really overrating Maxey, but
well, it just depends if you think he's going to take another jump. Because he had a great year, all-star year, but you also have to think like scoring and playmaking wise, a Harden, I can't. In my soul, I can't put him over him.
Interesting.
Fox, scoring, playmaking, I think.
Let's talk about
you know
Fox.
What I mean? Like, I don't know.
Let's talk about De'Aaron Fox, yeah. I think De'Aaron Fox at 10, like for me, like he's like he's an elite point guard. He's all-star caliber. But he's very good at a lot of things. He's a elite. Like the elite thing is like his speed and body control getting to the rim, and he's obviously opened up his game a lot with the shooting ability that he's added. But like I don't think like I think he did have a little bit of a down year considering last season, like the year that they were the 3 seed. Yeah. And I think when you just look at that, for me, like I was just not super high on the continuance of his game. And I just don't think that he has like an elite skill, in my opinion. Like, is his passing elite? No. Is his scoring elite? No. Like it's high end, like it's a all-star level, but is it elite? No. Is his defense elite? No. He's probably like a wash to like maybe slightly above. Like, is he generating offense? Is he an offensive engine? No, that's Sabonis. So like he's number one scoring option, but he's not actually like the offensive engine behind his team. I don't want to discredit him that, but I'm just saying that's why I kind of pushed him down a little bit.
No, that's fair, and that's why like Sabonis holds a lot of weight even in power forward rankings or center rankings, whatever he's going to be listed at, because he does hold weight in that and running that engine. But what I will say about Fox is that his rim pressure is pretty fucking elite, and he's one of the best clutch players in the league. And my thing is like, in basketball, like when you get to the rim, life's so easy. And he's such a silky smooth ball handler and athlete that he gets to that rim so easily, and he just creates open looks. Like, he's one of the players in the league where, like, if it's the fourth quarter and I need an open look, I'm gonna give De'Aaron Fox the ball.
Yeah,
and especially with his threes improvement, and I think I've talked about it a few times on this pod. The percentages are improving like drastically. He's not like a super efficient 3-point shooter, like, but he's now shooting off the dribble. He's shooting side steps. He's shooting step backs, coming off of screens, pulling up. I wouldn't say he's an offensive engine because I still think that's Sabonis, but I think I still think he's very, 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 very good, and I think he does what Jamal Murray does, but on a higher scale.
Yeah,
that's why I have Fox like multiple spots higher than 10, and I think a big part of it is the fact that when he is on the court, like that rim pressure that he just presents, and the way he can get out in transition, and just like you have to be watching him. He is that fast. Like he's lightning fast. He's got that zip going downhill. I think that he's athletic. He's gotten more crafty with his finishes. You know, I don't think he had the mid-range shooting season he had last year, in 2023, but really, really talented in between game, getting to that mid range, being able to pass. And, you know, we have to see if it's sustainable, but I thought he had an amazing 3-point shooting season.
Yes.
He shot like 8 3-point attempts per game and shot like 36, 37%. And for a lot of the season, it was like 39%. I don't know if that's sustainable. It's probably not. Like it'll probably go down a little bit. But I just think that if that 3-point shooting success that he had last year, if that continues and you add that to the way he can get downhill, to that in-between game, to his clutch play, and, you know, I think the Kings are going to be really good this season. And, like, you know, with DeMar DeRozan, I think DeMar and Fox are going to be able to work really, really well together. And, like, I think Fox's playmaking is a bit underrated. And it's not like, you know,
Yes.
he's not some Trae Young kind of guy out there when it comes to the passing and playmaking, but he's a really, really skilled playmaker. And we're just a season removed from in the playoffs against Golden State when he was just unguardable out there for large stretches. He had 36 points in game one, was just electric the entire series until he broke his finger, and then he wasn't exactly the same. I think the Kings win that series if Fox doesn't get hurt. We just aren't that far removed from that, and yeah, I'm still
and even with broken finger, he put up performances. His efficiency just dropped a little bit.
Yeah, so those are reasons that I've got him higher, but also, you know, it does make sense considering the Kings kind of weird season. Like having him lower makes sense a little bit, but I've got him a bit higher.
Yeah, I will say, doing this list, I bounced guys around a lot. And basically, just for me looking to next year, I think Fox is going to plateau. I don't think he's going to shoot that well from three again, and he might. And if he does, he will definitely propel himself up the list. But I think other guards that had maybe off years this year, I think they'll bounce back. I'm just higher on some of the guards that maybe didn't play as well. And then other guards that kind of stepped into the top 10 this year, I think will continue to improve. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, do we want to get into number 8 or number 9? We're not number 9, right? Number 9.
Yeah.
This is where I've got Tyrese Halliburton.
Same.
I also have Tyrese Halliburton at number 9.
Great. Okay.
Goddamn Rick Carlisle system player. We're over you, bro. Cut on your
gimmick. You see him in the Olympics. He's
no,
dishing. He's dishing.
So I think that Tyrese Halliburton has become a bit of a divisive player in a lot of sense, because 100%. I think he went from, the first half of last year, he was sensational. I thought, like, okay, this is the Tyrese Halliburton coming out party.
He is my biggest op, bro.
That in-season tournament was like, he was amazing, right? And I think people really saw that and was like, okay, Tyrese Halliburton is here. And I think as the season went on, that production started to drop a little bit. I think Tyrese Halliburton started to be a little bit overrated. Sometimes, depending on who you ask, really overrated. And I think I'm somewhere kind of in the middle, right? I don't think that, depending on who you talk to, people say that he hasn't even, grown out of the Darius Garland conversations. And I don't know. I think
that's nasty.
So people are pretty split on Halliburton for the most part, but I think number 9 is good for him. I think, like, he's one of the most efficient just offensive engines in the NBA. And yes, he benefits from that system, but the system works because Tyrese Halliburton can run it. You know what I mean? And I think I was really impressed in this playoff run to the conference finals when Halliburton's shot wasn't falling. I feel like he was still doing things to impact the game at a winning level. That playmaking and passing is always going to be there. And, I thought he had fine defensive moments in the playoffs too. Again, he's not a very good defender overall, but I'm at the point where I think he just makes winning plays and gives winning impact even when the scoring isn't there, because we know like the scoring, the volume scoring is still what's holding him back a bit from kind of taking that jump into those higher conversations.
Yeah.
But I think that if he, we've seen what he can be. If he can take that first half of last season and be, even 90% of that for a full season, I think he's going to shoot up these rankings.
Yeah. And I think I think you're 100% right. And I think one thing that Haliburton doesn't quite get credit for, and I think he will, as Indiana continues to improve and he continues to improve. I think he's one of the best leaders in the whole league. He's like, the reason that offense runs so smooth is that he's communicating and he's leading it. And even when his shot's not falling, he's able to get people the ball in positions where they should be.
Yeah.
And that's a lot harder than it looks. Like his passing is super underrated. And like you said, he just needs to get his on-ball shot creation up because he's a great shooter off ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a great shooter when he gets to his spots. He's got good touch on his floaters. He can finish. He's got good length, but you see it sometimes in the clutch or scoring wise. You can't he's just a hard player to gauge because he puts so much value into that offense. But
yeah,
he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna kind of add on to that. Like in the half court, right when the game slows down and you need a bucket, Tyrese Haliburton, he can't always give you that. And a lot of that is kind of the weird shot mechanics where he has to his feet really need to be set to get that shot off, right? It's not the kind of shot where he can elevate over guys. He needs to have some space to get that thing off. And his handle isn't super tight. Those are things that he needs to improve on for sure.
I think the handle is the number one thing because the handle will help him get to his spots, and he has length. For instance, someone else that's kind of a similar size. I know the Athletic isn't the greatest comparison, but Shea.
Yeah.
He can get to his spot with ease because his handle is tight as all hell. You know what I mean? One of the tightest handles in the league. And he just gets in the paint, uses his body, little floaters, little hooks. And I think that's what Tyrese Haliburton can and should do.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I don't think with his shot mechanics, side steps, pull-ups are going to be quite as easy. And with his frame, he's long, strong compared to other guards. I think he can do it. He just has to get that handle underway because that handle is.
There are some rough moments
for a lead guard in 2024. It is not great. It is actually borderline bad.
Yeah, and you see it sometimes. I think of that game against Charlotte last year where the game is on the line. Haliburton is isoing for the shot. LaMelo Ball just picks his pocket, just pokes it away. Game over. Yeah. Those are the kind of things that as the number one option on a playoff team, you gotta if he wants to jump into those star conversations, which we all know he's capable of, those are the kind of things that can happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they do happen even to the stars, but I think there are things that things offensively Tyrese Haliburton just is afraid to he just doesn't do it on the floor. He's afraid to do it because he either doesn't have the capability or he's just not comfortable with it. But there's certain on-ball capabilities that almost every guard in the whole league has that Tyrese Haliburton doesn't have. You know what I mean?
I think that was I think that was the main reason I pushed him down my list. He is an offensive engine at the top end of any offensive engines in the entire NBA. He's probably top 5, top 10. But the scoring limitations that he does have and the struggles that he has scoring the ball consistently enough do push him down the list because relying on team basketball is not usually a winning solution in the NBA, in modern NBA at least, because it's star driven. And if your star player and your best player cannot generate his own offense at a high end, a good enough level when he needs to, even, and you can't rely on that, is he really as good as some people may say? Like, people compare him to a guy like Chris Paul, but it's like Chris Paul in his prime was still generating his own offense for himself at a high level when he needed to. And I think Haliburton has flashes and he has stretches where he does that. Like Ryan was saying, he had early games in the beginning of the year for 2-3 months, averaging 26 points per 26, 12, and 5. Like, that's crazy numbers. But then he gets to, and then he has an injury, which caused some problems, but then he's back healthy and he can't score at that level when people are starting to hone in on him as a defensively as much. And that just causes problems. So yeah, I think that's why I pushed him down the list. And I agree with everything you said, but he's still a great player. And he is the driving force for the reason that they are as good as the Pacers are generating offense like they are when he's on the court. And there's a reason they were so good last year.
Yeah. And it's just like the on-off numbers are so evident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just see it both statistically and play-wise. Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah. We can get to number 8 then, I guess. Yeah. This is where I had Maxey at number 8.
Okay. I've got Trae Young at 8.
I have Brunson.
God damn.
Okay. I'm not. This isn't Brunson disrespect because I love his game, but
yeah,
I think last year is probably the best Brunson season we'll ever see. I think that was.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
It's literally no hate. I think he's going to plateau as an All NBA guard. Like, I still think he'll probably compete for All NBA next year, but.
Interesting. Yeah, I had him higher on my list just because I am going to factor in that season as like. That's like, I see how I know what you're saying.
I think.
Who did you have, Ryan?
I had Trae.
Okay, I have. So we didn't even talk about Max yet because you guys had him lower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about him now.
Let's talk about Maxey.
I have him this high just because. Sorry for looking on the side. I'm running 2 monitors and it's very angled, so that's why I'm looking over at my list. I'm not just staring blankly out my window. I have Maxey at 8 because I feel like I had him a little bit higher when I first made the list, but I pushed him down a little bit, like after just doing some kind of revisions. But I just think he's so explosive in so many different ways that he's like the perfect guard to pair with, like, as a second option to an elite big man. Like, he's so good getting downhill. He's so fast. He has such great body control. He's really good finishing around the rim still. He's a great shooter. He can work in transition. He's not a great defender, but he at least tries in the big moments when they need him to really lock in. So, like, which is kind of like the Dame mantra. Like, when I'm locked in, like, I'm going to try, but like, I'm not going to be like locked down all the time. But it's like, I just think that, like, he does so many things so well. And he was so consistently good for the Sixers last year without Joel that I pushed him on my list because of that 2-3 month stretch where he was by himself. And I know they didn't have a good record. But that team is built around Joel Embiid. And for him to even keep them, because they could have legit fallen out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I felt like he kept them afloat while Embiid was afloat to the level where they didn't miss the playoffs and they could survive until Embiid got back. And they obviously had to play a playing game, which they stomped them. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
About Maxey, like, I think that this is, like, you could not have asked for a better situation to play out this season than what happened with Maxey, right? Like, beginning of the season, you've got Harden. He doesn't want to be there. I think some of the hesitancy about, whether you want to give Harden up is like, you don't really know if Maxey you don't know if Maxey is ready to be, the lead guard in that team. And I mean, he was awesome, like basically right away last season. Career high 25 points per game, 1 most improved player. Like, I think that this is like Maxey is who the Sixers have always wanted to pair next to Joel Embiid, right?
Yeah.
Like
and now they have the perfect guy to pair as their
and-
third guy too.
And now they have the perfect guy, and I think it was cool to see Maxey kind of grow into more of a point guard. Also,
Trust me, we know we're at the same stage, but theoretically, he is the perfect third guy.
Theoretically, he is. I'll wait. I'll buy my third for now.
Yeah. You know, with Harden gone, obviously that means Maxey needs to take on more of a playmaking role, and I think he did a really good job at that this year. Assists went way up, turnovers stayed about the same. I think like his ability to just like, you know, to use his speed to get downhill is super valuable for this team. Just one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, just full stop. Like the percentages weren't what they were last year, but I think a lot of that is just because he had to take
volume increase,
and
he was creating for himself more.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, you know, I could have put him higher, and I think what you could point at is the playoffs. He was amazing against the Knicks round one. Averaged 29 points per game, had multiple big shots like that. I don't remember what game it was, but
I think it was 5.
Game 5, you aren't getting that from a lot of guards in the NBA. I don't mean to throw shade on people, but I don't think Tyrese Halliburton can really give you that. And
no,
Tyrese Maxey, he's just become just one of the best guards in the NBA, and he's still so young. I think he's going to keep on getting better. I'm really excited for this Sixers season. You know, I think Maxey has room to grow still. He could take another leap forward. I don't know if you guys saw that recent picture of him, but he looked jacked.
Yeah, drug tested.
Yeah,
he looks.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. He got drug tested. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of what I have to say about Maxey. Basically, he had a breakout year, really became a star in my opinion, and just what a fun player to watch.
Yeah, I absolutely love Tyrese Maxey's game. Leaving him off was very hard. I originally had him actually super high on my list, and then after some revisions and thought process, I dropped him down mainly because this is I'm projecting for next year. I think Maxey is going to plateau, not because of himself. I think he's going to get more efficient. He's going to improve in his role, but Sixers fans hated Tobias Harris. They are going to hate Paul George even more.
I mean,
I think I get theoretically.
I don't know if they will.
I hate Paul George's mentality, dude.
Oh yeah.
No, but Paul George's mentality, I am afraid. I think he's going to take away from Maxey a little bit. I think we've seen it almost at every stop where he goes. Something goes wrong. You know what I mean? And I think that there is an offensive hierarchy that needs to be made. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's willing to step down and be a third guy. And I think Tyrese is one of those guys that needs the ball in his hands. He needs to be able to get downhill. And yes, he's one of the best shooters in the league, but I think taking him away from a two-man game to introduce a Paul George pick and roll, it's nice, but I think as the Sixers, I would have gone looking for a more off-ball role, off-ball type player, and I would have really fed into the Maxey
I think that's their plan though with Paul George.
I don't have faith in him being an off-ball player as much anymore.
I kind of think he has to though. There's no other option. I mean, and I think at this point, I think Paul George does understand this. Most likely it's this season and maybe next season that he has a chance to win a championship, right? Mm-hmm. Before his body starts to give up on him a bit more. I think I think he's going to have to embrace that kind of role. And
I hope he does, but I'm just worried that Paul George is going to take away more shots than Tobias Harris would, right? And he's going to do it in a more frustrating, out of rhythm manner because he is a ball handler, right?
Yeah.
He can play make as a ball handler, like he can. So like you got to use that. You got to use Paul George as a coach. You're going to use him. You'd be stupid not to. But I think he's going to disrupt the flow of the offense a lot more. Like I would have gone and sold shop for a Lauri Markkanen. I think an off-ball play ender to pick up kind of off-ball forward role up to Tobias Harris, but better would have been or more of a 3-point shooter would have been an avenue I would have went. Obviously, I know getting Lauri right now is kind of a hard thing, but I just think offensively, I really think seeing Joel Embiid make more in the Nurse system and feeding Tyrese is the way I would have went. And I'm worried that they're going to take away a lot of touches.
Yeah.
Okay, at 7, I have this is where I have Trae Young at 7.
Let's see. I've got Fox at 7.
Okay. Who do you have?
I have Trae Young as well.
Okay.
Let's talk about Trae then.
Trae is I love Trae Young's for what he is, but last season he wasn't that efficient. He did have a lot of issues. He was injured. And they didn't even win that much. Like they won more when he was playing, obviously, because he's their best player, but he was not driving them up to what they usually are with him. And that's why I kind of had him down. Also, like he missed a month with injury too. Like that's not great.
Yeah.
So like a month and a half or something like that. So I'm excited though for this season with I feel like every year is the same thing with Trae Young. Every single year. We say the same points, talk about the same things with him. I'm excited this year because they're going to have real off-ball players playing around him. They're going to have better defenders playing around him. And I think they're going to look a lot better compared to what they have in the past. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. I'm looking forward to seeing how Richaise looks as the spot up movement guy that they've kind of they haven't had since Kevin Huerter. And I think he'll be better than Kevin Huerter was for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, I just really don't have too much to say about Trae because I feel like it's the same points every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of think like it is the same thing every year with Trae, right? I think he is just one of the most underrated stars in the NBA at this point. For what he does, I just don't think Trae gets the respect that he deserves for what he's done in his career. Like he came in as a second-year player, averaging like 30 and 10, basically, right?
Yeah.
I was high on the Hawks last year. I think we kind of all were, if I can remember. And they had a really bad season. But I am optimistic for next season just because, DeJounte Murray.
I will not be optimistic for next season. I'm done with that. I'm done with them.
Tricked
bro.
me too many years.
They're off the list, bro. They're off the optimistic.
I don't know if they'll win many more games, but I think they'll be a better watch just because, like,
I can agree with that.
Trae Young thing just didn't work. Like, there's no other way to put it. It didn't work. That pairing was a failure. They have him off the team. I think they've kind of reinforced their roster with other guys who I think are more suited to play with Trae Young. Zachary Richaise, I think, is going to be a good fit for that team. Dyson Daniels, we talked about last episode, Jeff. I think Dyson Daniels is a really intriguing young player who kind of does exactly what you want alongside Trae Young. They have a Larry Nance off the bench. DeAndre Hunter, I think he's just one of those guys where he has good seasons, he has bad seasons. Kind of had a bad season last year, in my opinion. I think he can be better. You've got your Bogdanovich still. Jalen Johnson, I think, still has room to grow. He had a really good season last year before he got hurt. He's going to be better, in my opinion. I think the Hawks will be a better watch, and I think we'll see a really good Trae Young season again. But yeah, I mean, we all know who he is, right?
Yeah, and I think the Hawks just got better complementary pieces for Trae Young's build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were going another like small guard, playing kind of slow. Like their offense height, like archetypes over the whole roster just didn't make sense. And then they've kind of rebranded into they got a bunch of forwards that can run. Dyson Daniels can go. Jalen Johnson, he goes. And Zachary Risese, he likes to run. And I think also getting rid of DeJounte, some people are, I've seen, like, maybe worried that Trae's going to be on ball too much again, because
there's never too much on ball with him, though.
Yes, there isn't. But also, I think putting Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels in those positions can be very good, because you can get downhill and quick pressure with those types of playmaking, ball handling, lengthy guys. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Johnson at a point forward role with Trae Young running off ball a little bit, or Trae Young on the bench. I think that's beautiful. And I think that's going to make a lot more sense. I don't know necessarily if they'll be good. They might be around the same seed. But even like Larry Nance, like he can get the ball and go a little bit. He's a versatile, like running wing, big.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm with you, Ryan. I think it's going to be a more enjoyable watch. It's going to make more sense. It's not going to look like they're fighting each other, like on the court. You know what I mean? Like last year, watching them, it felt very much push and pull.
Yeah,
no, not a lot of cohesiveness on the floor, and I think that they'll run smoother.
Yeah, and like I remember I was thinking like Quinn Snyder, offensive mastermind, like he's going to get this thing going, and he couldn't even do it. Like it's just the fit wasn't there. So, yeah. Do we want to just all right, what position are we on now? Like 6? 7?
6. Wait, 6? Wait. Did we all have Trae there, or
I had Fox at 7.
Okay, but we already talked about
him.
Yeah, we're on 6.
At 6, I have Damian Lillard.
That's where I have Dame too.
Matthias?
I have Dame there as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you guys talk about Dame.
Fucked up or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, everyone knows who Damian Lillard is as a player. Like, where there's nothing we can speak to convince anyone that he added or subtracted any ability last year, like of his actual skills.
Yeah.
But he did struggle last season, and he was inefficient for most of the year, and that was a problem for the Bucks. But I will say this: his impact on offense is still very much there, and that's why I put him up so high. Like, him joining the Milwaukee, like, pushed us from a below league average offense to the top 5 offense, top 2 for most of the year, until guys started to get hurt. And I think that was mostly led to his stability as a playmaker and his ability still to create. His gravity was still there all year, no matter how poorly he was shooting. People still respected his shooting because he's a flamethrower player. Like, you do not want him, even if he's struggling throughout the year, from a game-to-game basis, you do not want to give up shots to him.
You still got a game plan like he's Damian Lillard from 2020 or 2020, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
still the same.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's just like next season, like, I think he'll be better next year. I think he'll be in better shape coming into the year. I think he'll be more familiar with the team he's on, and the players around him are much better suited to be surrounding him and Giannis and Chris this year than they were last year. So I'm looking forward to this season. But yeah, I mean, just the inefficiency last year was a really dramatic drop off, and he really struggled a lot of the year. And hopefully everything's better with him this year. And I do have hope for that, and I think the consensus is that he will be better this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was just that's pretty much what it came down to. I mean, if we got even 80% of 2023 or 2022 Dame, 2022, 2023 Dame, he'd probably be 4th on this list.
Yeah.
Probably.
And if he is like not better next year, if he's worse next year, then it's like then you've got some big problems. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Damian Lillard, right? Like, again, we aren't. 2023 was like, you could argue one of his best scoring seasons, if not his best scoring season of his career. Like, he was amazing.
By far his best scoring season.
Yeah, he was amazing.
I don't want to get too into it. Amazing at the rim, amazing in the mid range, amazing from 3. Like, elite playmaking season as well. Like, it was insane. And the one thing I will say about Dame is that other than efficiency, I still think he played fine. I think he played very well. I think he improved as a defender this year over recent years.
He was a wash to a defensively most of the year. Yeah. I think it was pretty clear in that manner.
Yeah. And quickly, just one more thing before I think I cut you off, Ryan. Sorry. But any 2 option in the league averaging, what does he average? 25 and like 8, 25, 7.5 ish, right?
Yeah.
25 and 7. That's amazing number 2 options, like numbers, like very good. And if he puts up that with better efficiency next year, you can't really be upset. I just think a lot of people were used to seeing Dame be like the number 1 guy and also be a little more efficient. Like, obviously, like when shots aren't going in, it looks ugly. And he had that one really bad month. I think it was February or January, where it's just like atrocious.
Yeah, January.
Where I think Giannis shot a higher 3-point percentage than him. So it's like that's a big issue. And Damian Lillard doesn't really have scoring droughts like that. And if that continues,
well, his playoffs should give everyone hope. I mean, he averaged 33 points per game in the playoffs.
Yeah. So. And hopefully they can
on one leg. He had 33. He was averaging like 30 a game. So I just don't think there's much to say. I think you just got to wait and see with him. Like you said, Ryan, though, like if you see more of the same, if not worse, next season, then like you have a real problem on your hands. Until then, I don't think he'll be significantly worse. I think he'll be better next year, and I just need that efficiency numbers to give up. He could average less points per game than he did this year, and just be more efficient. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, like if he averages a 23 and 9 or 24 and 8 on better efficiency, I think that's a better season. Personally, because I think that's when you want to win, you have to be efficient. You can't have those months where you just stink it up.
Yeah. Okay, then let's go to 5 here. This is where I have Brunson at 5.
I've also got Brunson at 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't count, and I fucked up my list. So this is actually where I have Dame at 5.
Okay.
And
for me, Brunson
I only put 9 on my list.
Last year, Brunson just like absolutely electric. One of the clutchest players in the league. Post footwork was amazing. Post scoring was amazing. Mid range scoring was amazing. Still shot good from 3. Playmaking was there to an extent. Yeah. And his defensive deficiencies, he was just bought into that system so much that they could hide him more. I do kind of agree with you, Matthias. Like, I don't know how much better Jalen Brunson's going to be able to get, but if he can get any level of close to this for a certain amount of time, that's an all-star caliber player forever.
And to be fair, I feel like that's been the narrative around Brunson every offseason since he left the Mavs. And he just has continuously gotten better. So, if I wouldn't be shocked if he can improved as well. But the big thing with Brunson is like I don't have much to say other than the difference in playmaking with Trey and Dame. That's really the only reason I had him over.
Yeah, I completely understand that. He was just so good.
Yeah, this season was, and in the playoffs, he was absolutely amazing. So, all credit to Brunson.
He's just such a an amazing scorer, right? Like you don't really see a lot of guards like that who just, can get by with their footwork, and they can play the mid range. Like it kind of reminds me in a sense of like Isaiah Thomas that one season where he was just insane. Like he really mastered, being a small player and being able to get to his spots. And that, I think Brunson has been able to do that and be even better, right? Like that playoffs, he was so good against Philly and against Indiana. It just felt like the Knicks ran out of players and they ran out of gas there at the end. And
yeah,
I'm excited for this Knicks season because if Brunson can have a repeat of last year, like this is a team that could make the finals. Like beating Boston isn't the craziest thing in the world.
I think people are underrating Mikal for sure. That Mikal pickup's huge.
Yeah, like Brunson, OG, Mikal, Randall, Mitchell Robinson. You got Deuce, Dante. You got Josh Hart off the bench. Like this is going to be a good team. And
yeah, that front court is fucking food, bro.
Listen,
sorry to say it, bro.
Okay, that's fair. But man, I just think like we saw like every single year for the last 4 seasons, Brunson has just gotten better and better and better. And I wouldn't completely rule it out that he has another step to take.
That's completely fair.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he made a playmaking jump this year, especially with Mikal coming in and Randall coming back healthy, I guess that wouldn't necessarily shock me.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, number 4. Since we decided to include him on the list because he played and he's sick as fuck, this is where I have Ja
Morant. Yeah.
I have Ja here as well.
He is going into this season. I'm putting my flag down this. He is the most underrated player going into the next season for where he is as a player compared to what people think he is as a player.
Yeah.
Going into next year, because he's legitimately in that Donovan Mitchell like area where it's like he's borderline top 10 player. Like he's a damn near generational playmaker, and his scoring ability getting downhill is like fucking ridiculous.
Here's what I think. I'm just gonna say this right now. He is my dark horse MVP.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
Guy, Ja Morant.
I think he is in a position similar to Dame was, I'd say in like 2017, where Ja Morant, I think, is a top 10 player and people just don't see it yet. They either aren't watching the Grizzlies or they're blocked by his off-court things. Mm-hmm. Where, like, I think he's better than Donovan Mitchell. Like, he's one of those guys where he has the playmaking and offensive engine ability of some of the best playmakers ever, right? He's up there with Trey, with Luka, with Halliburton in the passing department. But he also had one of the most clutch years we've had in recent memory, like 3 years ago, 2 years, like not that long ago, right? So he brings the value behind, like he brings like the golden gears that run the offense and that run that team, but he's also just a fucking bucket at the same time. And you see that, and he played what, 8 games,
and it was awesome. Like
they were like a top 3 team in the league for 8 games. And they sucked the game
back. He hit the game winner, right? Like,
yeah,
he's just so good. And like at a certain point, you just have to look at it like when he plays, the Grizzlies win a ton of games. Like 2022 and 2023, when Ja became that like superstar player. I mean, the Grizzlies were the 2 seed both years. Like they are just a good team when he's there running the ship. And to talk about
he's been a good playoff performer too.
Been a really good playoff performer, right? And just talking about him in his skill set, like as far as a downhill, I'm gonna dunk on you or use that that layup package and that athleticism to just attack the basket. Like there aren't too many better players at that. And he's got that floater touch that's been really impressive. He can do those kind of running mid-range shots when he's got that going. Amazing playmaker. People don't talk about him at like the kind of playmaker that he actually is, right? He's not. I don't think he's that far away from like a Trae Young, Tyrese Halliburton. Like he can be in that conversation too, And I think I'm excited this year because when you've got Zach Edey setting screens and Ja Morant flying off, like I think that advantage creation is really going to do the Grizzlies some wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while since we've seen Ja play a lot of basketball. And I think people forget where Ja was in the conversation with guards in the league and with already being borderline top 10 talent at the time. People were having him on their dark horse MVPs. I feel like for a little bit now with that Grizzlies, he's just been so good at winning, putting up numbers, and being so young. Like I get it. But I think some people just I think they've just simply forgotten. Like I think
so too.
The Grizzlies, I think there's going to be this whole thing in the media and with just like on social media and in like actual sports media that there's going to be a shock. Like the Grizzlies come from being the worst teams in the league to be one of the best. Like all of a sudden it's going to be like, no, like, like that. They should be a top 4 seed in the West next year, in my opinion.
I agree.
And 99% of that is on Ja Morant's shoulders because he's just that good. And we saw that this year when he showed up for a week.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking about him on this podcast as like, can they make the playoffs if he plays the rest of the year? And then he tore his labrum like 2 days later. So
I fell to my knees when I got that news, bro.
Yeah, same.
Dude, I think they would have. I think they would have.
I'm sorry, they would have. They would have.
Okay, let's get into this top 3. 3. I have Steph Curry at 3.
Okay. I have Shea.
I've got Shea also. I went back and forth on Shea and Curry like a lot of times, man. I really was like, because I think they're different in so many ways as far as how they play and the kind of production they give. I think we can kind of have this discussion about both of them at the same time because I think we all know who number 1 is going to be. But I just think that if Steph Curry had another guy on his team that could do anything with the ball, I think we wouldn't have. I don't think this would be. I don't think the consensus would be that Shea is above him, right? Like Steph Curry is so overtaxed with having to do every single thing offensively for the Warriors, right? Especially when like Klay Thompson just cannot be the guy to relieve that much pressure off of Steph anymore. Chris Paul didn't do that at all last season. Andrew Wiggins disappeared. Kuminga can't do that. Podziemski is still too young. Draymond Green can't stay on the court because he keeps on getting suspended. Right.
Yeah, and he's aged out a little bit. You know what I mean? He's not gonna 30-point triple-double in the finals anymore.
Mm-hmm. Draymond has always been someone who elevates Steph, unlike any other player he's played with. And when Draymond isn't there, you see that it's more difficult for Steph.
And like, no, I agree wholeheartedly. And that was a big reason I had Steph ahead or at the 2 spot as well. And I think that it kind of ties into the conversation I had when I first got on about the Blazers and with Anthony.
Yeah.
When you have a shooter, like Steph is this, but on steroids, like what I was talking about, like Steph's value comes from, what was the woke nonsense, the off-ball gravity playmaking. Like that's what Steph does. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when you don't have anybody on the team to give him the damn ball, you have people thinking it's smarter to just spam Steph Curry pick and rolls, which it's cool that the Warriors are finally going into the mass pick and roll and Steph Curry's great in it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where he's Steph Curry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they have nobody to also produce shooting gravity on their team anymore. But they also don't really have anybody to give the ball to those shooters. You know what I mean? And Chris Paul I said it from the beginning, his play style does not fit that system at all. So he's completely different type of playmaker. You know what I mean? And Draymond obviously has been the guy that's fed that off ball split action nonsense for years. And again, he can't be on the floor, number one. And number two, he has no scoring presence anymore. You know what I mean? Which then takes away from his ability to playmate because no one's afraid of him.
Yep. Yeah, it's just like the fact that Steph Curry can still produce the way he can in this system and in this team that just doesn't give him a lot of support is super impressive just by itself. And if they can get a guy like Markkanen, and if Draymond can stay on the court this season, and they get some more development from their young guys, I think Steph can have another really good season, and maybe even the Warriors can make the playoffs again. But yeah, and I think at the end of the day, with Steph, his shooting is still the best individual skill of really any player in the NBA. Like that shooting is just so game breaking in every way imaginable. And I think he's just it's more conducive to highs and scoring explosions than a guy like Shai is. I think Shai gives you more steady, more consistent production. Like Shai doesn't often just have shit games, right? Steph will have slumps. We've seen more and more these last few years where when the shot isn't going, it's just he's not producing as much. But Shai, night in and night out, he's gonna give you probably an efficient 30 while
he's gonna give you 30 and 5.
Yeah, while playmaking and playing really good defense.
Yeah.
And
I think there is an argument with the whole defense
and
consistency you can make with Steph and Shai. And
the fact that they just won a ton more. It's not really Steph's fault they lost, but the Thunder were awesome, and Shai was such a big part of that. He was the MVP?
Yeah. I think he should have won MVP. You know what I mean?
Same.
And I will say, if I were to do top 10 players in the league, these guys would be 4 and 5 probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These two spots are, in the grand scheme of things, also they're right neck and neck in the whole league. I think both of them are borderline. They're either 4 through 6 best players in the whole league. They are amazing.
That's why I went back and forth so many times because it's they're so close when it all nets out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with your point though, Ryan, about Shai and the slumping and thing. He does have poor games, but he does have his two-way ability. Really is what gave him the edge to me. To be honest,
he
was so good on defense last year, passing lanes, on-ball defense, switching, all that kind of stuff. So that's what pushed him over Curry for me. I originally had Curry too, but I decided to flip Shai. So I agree. I was kind of doing the flip-flopping thing too. And then number one, Luka, finals run, creates offense at a crazy level. Last year shot a crazy high number from 3 on 9 attempts. Still a great post scorer. One of the top 3 best playmakers in the NBA, probably top 4 playmakers in the NBA.
Yeah.
So
and we saw you give him some bigs who can roll and who can catch lobs and do a lot of that rim running stuff, and you see how much that can unlock Luka, because I watched it happen to my team in the conference finals, that double drag action, with Luka initiating and you've got the bigs rolling, you can't, it's impossible to guard. It's just impossible. And when you've got a guy like Kyrie Irving who can also relieve that pressure, who you still have to treat like a number one option in his own way, man, it's tough to beat the Mavs. And Luka, he's just insane. He did struggle a bit in the finals. I didn't love the way he played, but I don't really think that doesn't detract from him at all. It's Luka,
Yeah,
for sure.
No, Luka is. The only thing you could ask more from him is like defense.
It's defense and just stop the whining. That's literally it. Stop complaining and stop crying every single time you don't get a call. If he can stop doing that, then like I think then he can be in best player in the world conversations. You know, it's literally just that. But other than that, I think he did improve on defense this season. I think the effort improved. I think his leadership improved. And yeah, like when like he offensively he's a generational offensive player, like truly. Like like there are only a handful of guys in NBA history who can even really compare to Luka.
And if this 3-point volume and percentage keeps up, like that's absurd. Like we were talking about Fox earlier. Like if Luka is able to do that, like I think it's truly best player in the league scenario. Yeah. And what I will say also offensively, they got Klay, and I know Klay's been bad, but like that double drag action is just going to get harder. You know, they had Derrick Jones Jr. as their small forward. You know, now it's like they can throw Klay and Kyrie in there. They could throw and run like a little split, like Warrior style, or they can throw a big in Klay, a big in Kyrie. You got to worry about a pick and roll. You got to worry about a pick and pop. You got to worry about everything. Like we might see Luka level up again.
He could, dude.
It's like he could average 30 and more assists. You know what I mean? With Klay there, like I truly mean it, because I think Klay has slowed down. Like his scoring efficiency is like his defense and his ability to create on ball. Like it is like I'd be lying if I said it didn't. But looking at the shot makers at that forward position for the Mavericks over the years, it's a huge upgrade. And he still shot what, like 38% from 3 last year?
He's still an amazing
good
shooter.
Volume.
Still an amazing shooter, and he's gonna just do so well in that Mavs system. And they also brought in Najee Marshall, who is a more capable shooter than like a Derrick Jones Jr. PJ Washington had a really strong shooting series against OKC. You know, the shooting is up and down with him, but he's, you know, he can make shots, and you don't want to leave him open all the time too. So
people have to guard him.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. Appreciate everyone who's watched the whole video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We'll be back moving to the position rankings, talking about the Olympics, all that good stuff weekly, hopefully. And peace out.
Peace.
Peace.